because this is something that appears in like the sort of woke compilation pictures, right? And it's sort of okay. We'll go from the female ab stuff to this. I think in the in a lot of these Twitter threads, to the point like this is sort of emblematic of the same type of issue. But I
To
looked
me,
into the
this is
account,
just the same thing.
the account of that guy like Ben Q, right? And he's more of like this alternate, like this sort of new age type guy who works out, and like he's with the he's apparently friends with that guy Awaken with JP, right? And I made this sort of argument that I actually think that these new agers are a lot more adjacent to our spheres than most of these political and cultural spheres. I don't know if you look at this picture, I don't know if you can get the whole picture up, but you see, the reason I don't, even though like it looks completely cringe. I don't think that this is like a standard kind of like registered Democrats ceremony here. Like you look at the women here, they're actually quite attractive, right?
Why are
They're
they
all
crying though?
they're all white, and they're crying as well. So it's not like this sort of typical women is going to dominate men thing. This is going to be one of these more cringy new age kind of we need to forgive the sacred feminine, in a sense. Like we need to the men will collectively ask for forgiveness, and like you see with the woman, like she thinks it's very sincere, like she's very sort of emotionally touched by
But
this
what's the angle here? I'm
experience.
sorry. What's the angle? I've been oppressing you for thousands of years, or is the angle I'm sorry I let you out of the kitchen? Because one of them I
It's a
can
good
understand.
it's a good question, but it's very much like from there.
It's on me that you have to work now, a 9 to 5 job. That's my fault, and I'm sorry, women. We messed up, but I'm not going to apologize for the hierarchy of the home. I refuse.
No, certainly not. But I don't think like especially with these new agers, I think they're much better on like gender roles than not in the sense of this like 1950s like Leave It to Beaver type gender roles, but in the terms, yes, they probably did. Uh, but in the terms of they'll talk about like the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. What's this author's name? Like Jason Data, The Way of the Superior Man. Like they will read this kind of literature that borders on esoteric, like almost Evolan spirituality, even though they get into a lot of this kind of cringy ridiculousness like this. But like in terms of dissident ratings for these people, if you harken back to the AA video where he was sort of like ranking like who's a dissident and who's not a dissident, then he basically said like the sure way to assess a dissident is if you're unvaxxed and you're neutral on the Ukraine-Russia question. And I think that within this kind of new agey sphere, there's going to be more people who would have checked both of those boxes than you would find in, I think, almost any other political or spiritual sphere in the Western world currently. And I don't know if you disagree with that, but that's kind of my take on this.
I'm not going to disagree in the sense that I think you're like completely wrong. I just don't see the sort of the value. Like if let's say like 20% of the people who attend something like this is actually, based, quote unquote. But what about, I mean, I don't see this as anything but not based, right? This is, if this is the other 80%.
But look at the
what's
women though.
point?
They're the women are not fat, right? And they're not like muscle bound. They're perfectly sort of healthy, regular BMI women. They don't look like they have like any type of skin diseases like you see the people who go to these abortion protests. They're able to produce people who are mostly white, who look and sound healthy, right? That's sort of what's being produced here, as opposed to like this more bio-Leninist strain of these people with like these kind of disgusting skin diseases who are extremely overweight.
Be at the next Coachella, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, he might attend something like this. He talked about how like the elites of tomorrow will be attending Burning Man and
exactly.
These
That's what I'm saying.
And these things.
Well, I see from a strategy point of view, I can understand why you could ally with these people, but it does also require you to be in a position of power where you can drop them when they're no longer useful, right?
And I think that's what we have to do. I mean, that's what the lefts have done. They've allied with people, and they have to drop them when it's not convenient. But I think, like for these for these people, I mean, if you want to try to find a woman who could actually allow you to play out this more like traditional esoteric masculine role and who is white and like healthy, maybe a little bit crazy, but I think like these communities are better for that than most of what you're going to find. You know, it's certainly better than universities. It's better than like art clubs or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. It's a strange route, but I mean, I suppose strange bedfellows is the name of the game here.
Yes, I mean that's the problem. Like, when you look at people, I mean, people inside the DR are calling each other cringe, right? So when you look at people who are outside, and say you look at adjacent things like the evangelical community or the like this kind of new agey community or sort of local Muslim community, wherever you will try to find some allies in the fight against the gay. Well, I mean, these communities are just like pure cringe. There's very little to it other than that. So you just have to take it for what it is and see, okay, what do we have in common, and see if you can help each other out. I don't see any other way. You're not going to get further up without finding some allies.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. This picture just makes me feel bad. I think that's like I understand what you're saying. It's just whatever's happening on screen here just
Yeah, it should induce a
leaves
kind
a
of
bad
disgust
taste in my
reaction, I
mouth.
think.
Yeah. So I'm just getting overpowered by the disgust reaction. Yeah.
Well, that's that. It's
Um,
healthy, right? But I guess that's the kind of that's where we get the entertainment from, right? I mean, we can defend the indefensible.